A dreadnought breaks through the atmosphere and begins its slow descent. The landscape features several strange, organic-looking, domed structures. They look almost like huge, mechanical mammary glands that hum with gentle vibrations. They are the Space Jockey's egg silos. The Space Jockey's ship lands on the isolated, desolate planet. Three engineers disembark the dreadnought. They stand over 7 feet in height, are of a muscular build and a bald head with pale grey skin. They wear strange-looking exosuits that appear to be morphed with their bodies. With purposeful strides, they approach the silo. When in close proximity to the unusual architectural biostructure, they are halted by a prism of brilliant blue laser light that is emitted from a tiny recess in the silo's outer wall. It slowly pans up and down, scanning their biology. Meanwhile, the scanning image is projected to the Space Jockey pilot aboard the dreadnought, in the form of a hologram. It is displayed within the navigational array of the cockpit. The pilot responds by placing its huge hand with overly long fingers against the holographic image. Authorization is accepted, and the image disappears. Back at the silo, the projected prism of light ends abruptly. Within moments, a fleshy opening begins to slowly pull apart from the wall of the structure. The engineers enter the silo through this strange organic entrance. A silo worker meets them inside the domed structure. He is also of the engineer race, but is dressed in a dark robe rather than the exosuits worn by the visitors. He gestures them to follow as he leads them through the silo. A complex array of strange, semi-organic machines regulate flow and quantity of genetic material with absolute precision. This formula is fed through a number of large mechanical tubes that stretch across the chamber. Emerging from these tubes, with a piston-like motion, are long, fleshy shafts that deeply embed themselves within a large number of vulva-like openings that form the outer wall of the gestation chamber. Viscous fluids can be seen coursing through a magnitude of veins that run along the length of this phallic biological extensions. The gestation chamber itself is an enormous structure of organic matter that dominates the interior of the silo and extends vertically to the highest reaches of the dome ceiling, like a colossal tower of flesh. The engineer guide explains that the gestation process occurring within is most likely entirely biological and self-sustaining. However, the workers know nothing about the nature of this process. The Space Jockey race ruthlessly protects all knowledge concerning their biological weapons manufacturing, especially so with this latest development. Here, there are also a number of fleshy, oval orifices enmeshed within the outer wall of the gestation chamber. The leathery ovoids are birthed through the soft, fleshy tissue folds of the opening. Slimy mucus and tendrils of the membrane still clinging to both the egg and the dilated orifice. The sticky, viscous fluid helps to sustain the ovoid as it descends down wide, pulsating chutes to be deposited in a cavernous womb-like chamber below. The engineer guide leads the visitors towards lifts. As the elevator descends, the strange organic architecture gives way to more mechanical design. Beneath the surface of the silo are enormous storage hangars. These contain cargo platforms loaded with the ovoids. A protective blue status field has been activated and beamed across the surface of the eggs. The engineer guide explains that it protects the eggs from reacting to atmospheric changes during transport and delivery once they depart from the protected environment of the silo. It also prolongs the lifespan of the ovoids indefinitely, as long interstellar journeys have become a regular occurrence. The robed engineer then leads the visitors towards the cargo platform that is assigned to their dreadnought ship, but stops short of it and turns to address them directly. He asks them if they are aware of the cargo's destination target. The crewmen look uneasy. He informs them that their own people are the targets, the engineer civilization and those that they were permitted to create. He elaborates by explaining how the engineers believed they were an independent race, that by offering loyal servitude to their masters they were permitted to establish their own culture and technology. Their masters even taught them how to create life on distant barren worlds. Now, eons later, their creators were finally developing civilizations of their own. The crewmen ask why their masters would do this. The guide gestures towards the cargo platform, explaining how their masters have become corrupted by the potential of this new bioweapon. This has resulted with the engineers becoming test subjects for the space jockey's curiosity and experimentation. After allowing the crewmen a moment for reflection, the engineer guide explains they must not let the cargo reach its destination. The crewmen protest that it was not possible. The weapons aboard the dreadnought were only capable of temporarily neutralizing the facehuggers in the event of containment breach. So they do not bleed acid, and there was no need for a waste. They have no effect on the space jockey pilot. The robed engineer then presents them with a small silver vial. He explains how the engineer workers at the silo had extracted and harnessed a black liquid that seems to act as an accelerant in the creation of the ovoids. They had tested it on aborted eggs that had failed to properly gestate, and the results had proven that it was a potent mutagen indeed. He advises that once the dreadnought was in flight, the black liquid should be applied directly to an egg in the cargo hold. It would mutate and its inhabitant would grow to a much larger size and become much more aggressive. The space jockey had, after all, precisely engineered its creature so that its size could not affect them. The plan was then to stun the facehugger as it mutated and emerged from its egg. The stasis field would no longer be able to contain it due to its size, and attempt to place it within proximity of the pilot before it fully recovered. This is the only way they could attack the space jockey. With grim resolve, the crewmen agree and accept the silver vial. They are instructed to stay upon the raised central walkway with the egg cargo beneath them. The robed engineer then informs them of something that they were already consciously aware of. Due to the symbiotic nature of the pilot and the ship, if one was to die, so would the other. The crew would go down with the dreadnought. The crewmen exchange glances and each give an acceptance of acknowledgement. The silo engineer tells them that all ships that have collected cargo in this current cycle have accepted the same mission as them. They can only assume that they have been successful, as no retaliation has been made by their masters. The engineer then walks to the control unit of the cargo lift and alerts the dreadnought pilot that the cargo is ready for installation. The engineer explains to the doomed crewmen how they are not alone in their sacrifice. In a short while, many attacks will take place simultaneously across multiple star systems. A balance of power was about to shift in their favor. The age of engineers was about to begin. The signal from the dreadnought flashed across the control unit. The robed engineer activates the cargo lift and bows his head, an honourable gesture. A large spherical opening appears on the surface of the planet, in a spiral motion. The cargo platform is lifted up from the depths of the facility and raised into the air. The space jockey craft was airborne and hovering directly above them. A hatch on the underside of the ship slides open horizontally across the main body of the craft. The cargo platform enters the ship and the hatch retracts, closing again underneath after the cargo lift mechanism has disconnected. The cargo platform appears to become part of the ship. The giant space jockey pilot is symbiotically attached to the ship, to the extent that it appears to be physically grown into, or maybe out of, the seat of the cockpit. A truly alien beast that is seemingly melted upon its throne. It is impossible to determine where the seat ends and the pilot begins. A network of thick, fleshy veins that protrude from the seat are directly attached to the space jockey, several of which are fused to the base of the pilot's skull. This forms a neural link that allows the pilot and the vessel to be integrated as one, a symbiotic connection of perfect function. The space jockey pilot senses that the cargo platform is secure and activates the navigational panel. The neural link indicates that all systems are energized and ready. The ship leaves the planet and disappears amongst the stars.